now to discuss the latest on COVID-19 is emergency medicine physician and assistant professor, Dr. Tsion Firew. Good to see you, doctor. Appreciate you being with us.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we know that officials are pleading with people to take precautions as these cases spike. What can families do to stay safe, knowing that we have the holidays coming up?
Um, that's a very important question, especially yesterday I was walking around New York City seeing the holiday cheer and people visiting stores. I think at this point it's very important people not to let their guards down. Earlier you spoke about the president from South Africa, and his message this morning was very clear. He said, don't let your guards down. Do everything you can and need to stay safe, beginning the vaccination. And at this point, as families are traveling and gathering, especially after 2 years of not being together with family members because of COVID, I think people are excited to get back and celebrate together. It's important that people don't let their guards down. If people are eligible to get vaccinated, it's important to get vaccinated. And at this point, the booster is now available for everybody over the age of 17. So for everybody to get boosted, especially if they are high risk people. And at the same time, it's very important that the masks are worn, especially in high risk area and in very crowded areas. And during travel, to continue all the
Yes,
precautions that you
yes.
had, people kept on doing.
So according to the CDC stats, there's cases spiking. Their statistics show that the cases are spiking in the Northeast and the Midwest, but not in the South. Can you help us understand why that is?
So some of the things that we've discussed before, mostly the unvaccinated are the ones driving the spike in cases. Unfortunately, even people that qualify are still hesitant and not confident in the vaccine. That's an issue. And also, in addition to that, some of it, which we still need more data, really testing also drives the positivity that we see in the number of cases. People who believe that the virus is still a hoax are less likely to get tested even when they show symptoms. So also the testing could actually be the driving in the differences. And at the same time, especially in the Northeast and the Midwest, as the weather is getting colder, people are most likely to indoors and congregate indoors instead of being outside. So that could be one of the things that are driving in the spike in the Northeast and the Midwest.
Yeah, and we were just talking earlier with our reporter Dre Clark about those indoor public spaces across New York State where they're requiring masks for all people or proof of full vaccination prior to entry. These measures, are they necessary? They're absolutely necessary in curbing the spread. And if so, why do the cases continue to spike in the Northeast if they have, because they've been having these regulations?
Yeah, just like what I said earlier, I think a lot of people think because they're vaccinated, they let their guards down. They believe that they don't need masking even in indoor spaces. And I think at this point, a lot of people don't understand that the vaccine just prevents you from being, hospitalized or becoming severely ill, that you still can contract the disease even when you're vaccinated. So unfortunately, because of that, we still continue to see the rise in the spike. And when they're vaccinated, people are just letting their guards down, and that's the issue. And one thing to add, especially now with the number of people who are unvaccinated, and also, people doubting the effectiveness of the vaccine, that continues to spread the wrong message, especially for people who need to be vaccinated, and we continue to see this rise. And one thing also I should say, which is not, when I walk into restaurants in New York City and places, people do check for your ID and your proof of vaccinations, which I believe is very effective. But also we're seeing some people who are carrying fake vaccination cards, and unfortunately, that doesn't help the cases in New York City. And hopefully, we'll learn. We were hit the hardest at the very early on. We've seen many New Yorkers die across the state, and hopefully, people will learn. And I don't think we want to go back to the lockdown again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is great advice and important information that you've been sharing with us. Thank you so much for joining us here today on BNC. Take care.